Hi guys, so today I'm going to be talking about five money books that I think you should read even if you don't like financial books. And because my favorite thing is fantasy, this is definitely something that I'm not a complete expert in. These are just books that have helped me that I think would help you. Now we're going to start off really strong, and probably with some people's least favorite person is going to be Dave Ramsey. So The Total Money Makeover is one I read when I got out of debt. The way I got out of debt is a little different. I lived with my boyfriend at the time. We did not pay on each other's debt. But this really helped me understand what money is, the reason I kind of think about money, and also to get a better understanding of how to actually handle the money I earn and give. Does that make sense? This biggest reason thing is his biggest thing is have no debt, have no consumer debt, have no business debt, and to save and invest and to still enjoy your life. And honestly, I kind of agree with it. We don't have any consumer debt. My husband now, we don't have any consumer debt minus our mortgage, and it's honestly been pretty life-changing. I definitely do recommend it. Now, some people don't like him because he can be kind of abrasive. I do think if you're interested in actually hearing some of the stories, look up Debt-Free Screams, and those are way more motivating than just reading the book. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more, he's got a radio show that's been on the air for 20 plus years, and I do actually like him to an extent. Do I agree with every single thing? No. But did I learn a lot? Yeah, I learned way more than I ever did. The next one is going to be Rachel Cruz's Love Your Life, Not Theirs. She is Dave Ramsey's daughter. I'm pointing this way because his book's over there. She's way less abrasive, and it still kind of goes into how to budget and the way you think about money and the way you grew up around money. I like this one better for understanding how I thought about money. The Dave Ramsey Total Money Makeover really brought in about how to budget and how finances actually affect us. Hers is how money affects us growing up and into our early and late adulthoods. So this is one I definitely recommend. And it's living the life you really want to live. It's what's a priority for you and your family, or yourself, or your spouse. My dog is a priority, so I always make sure to budget his food, obviously, vet expenses, and going to a groomer because I cannot cut his nails, but also his toys and making sure he can actually go with me. So any training that I feel might benefit us. So that's a priority for me. Traveling is a priority. So that's another thing. This one is a bit different, and it actually has a Netflix tie-in. This is I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi, and honestly, this one changed the way I look at debt. Now, what people don't realize, what I took from this book, is he still doesn't like consumer debt. He wants you to be a very boring consumer, to where you don't actually buy things you cannot pay for up front to an extent. Dave Ramsey thinks that you shouldn't. Dave Ramsey and Rachel Cruz both think you should not have any debt whatsoever, including car loans, student loans, or a home mortgage. Ramit takes it a little bit less, but he's still kind of intense. He actually recommends Dave Ramsey's books, so that's why I'm going to recommend those, and why I feel comfortable recommending these books together. Because Ramit really thinks of how does your rich life look? And what that looks like for you. He talks about budgeting and how to negotiate and talk to people in your bills. Does that make sense? So he's saying, there's scripts in here for talking to your credit card people and talking to even your utilities to see if you can get a better rate. So this one also changed the way that money is flexible, and it doesn't always have to look My husband prefers this method of budgeting, which is more of an intentional spending plan, while I prefer more of a outline of what every single dollar is going to do. So which one do? We do more like a nice little mix of, I give him a certain amount of like what he can sure spend, and I break down the things that make me feel comfortable. So I do like this one. This one also taught me that credit cards do not have to be as scary as they are, especially if you're a boring consumer. We use credit cards now, but we carry no debt. If we cannot pay for something up front, we do not buy it. And so if we can pay for something up front, like if we're saving up for a vacation, we're not going to put it on a credit card. We're actually going to save up the money for the vacation. We might put it on the credit card to get those extra points because that does kind of benefit. And he also does like a really nice breakdown of what credit cards are and the scams that kind of come with them, because store cards are not worth it. I do not like store cards. I don't think they're worth it in any capacity. Something like a Discover credit card that has some cash back, that's a different story. Please read this one. I don't know very much about the credit card stuff besides just general knowledge. We were planning on buying a house, and whenever we were going to do that, we noticed our credit scores didn't go down. So we didn't, after we paid off our loans, it was like 2 or 3 years, and they still haven't, like they didn't go down. So we kind of talked about it, and that's why we did decide to do credit cards, is because to help build our credit score, which still not a whole fun thing, but it is a necessary at this point, in my opinion. Does that make it right? No. So I definitely did like this one. This one really helped me feel more comfortable with things and also understand, again, what does my rich life look like? Well, reading books is something that I really enjoy, and also traveling. Now, does it mean I need to buy every single book? No, I use my library a lot, and if I reread a book, then I purchase it. This one I think we actually got as an audiobook first. Bought the physical because I've read these a few times. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This one is more of that mindset thing. This one is thinking about the law of attraction is really kind of what this one goes into. It's like if you're thinking about money and you're thinking about how to make money, then it's going to happen for you. I believe that to an extent. I do think positive thinking works. Positive thinking needs to move into positive action. If you just sit there and you're thinking about like, I need more money, that's not going to work, because you need to actually put effort into it. You need to actually put the time into working on your YouTube channel. You need to put the effort into working on your novel. You need to put the effort into baking so you can sell baked goods. As you can tell, I'm probably talking about myself. Now, this one is one I've listened to, and then I just kind of flipped through it, and kind of think about it. I did like this one because it also goes into a little bit of delegation on things that you may not be the best at. And I do think for your time, you need to figure out like what's worth it. I have somebody come into my house once a month and clean for about 2 hours, and that's it. That's what we agreed on, because for the most part I can keep my house pretty clean. But it's also really nice for somebody to come in once a month to clean the things I don't like to clean, which is really my bathroom tub and my stove. Do I clean those whenever I can? Yes. Do I do a deep clean every single time? No. So it's finding that balance. So I did like this one about that. Last one I recommend, and this one I actually recommend you reading last if you do decide, is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. The reason I recommend this one last is because I personally did not agree with every single thing that Robert Kiyosaki talks about. Now, his Rich Dad and Poor Dad are two very different things. His Rich Dad was a convenience store owner. He owned multiple businesses, and his poor dad was his actual father, who had a college degree and worked as a professor. This is a really big comparison of degrees do not always equate wealth. Now, I do have a couple of degrees, associate degrees, which is totally fine, but I do find that I use my certificates more than I have my degrees. Does that always make everything great? No. But it did kind of change the way I looked at for wealth and degrees versus like effort expounded. And his biggest thing is how to use other people's money to make yourself wealthy. He's really big onto taking multiple mortgages and making money that way. I don't really agree with that. But I did find a lot of knowledge in there that I did take from it. Now, these are just, like, they're all very different. Robert Kiyosaki is actually, I think, filed bankruptcy. There was an article I saw that had his name. I'll try to find it and put it here and there. Hey, editing Naomi here, and I was just looking at the article that I found about Robert Kiyosaki, and it's still not really, he's technically 1.2 billion in debt is what he amounts to, but the article is really kind of more gets into the lines of like how many people use debt to buy liabilities, vehicles, stuff like that, instead of assets like a house, not a car, stuff like that that he actually uses. So I'll still link it, but it's not what I thought it was. I thought he was filing bankruptcy, but obviously shouldn't trust the internet all the time. And we'll kind of talk about it in the comments if you want, because it's really interesting that somebody we consider wealthy can still be able to file bankruptcy, which is also why you have to find, in my opinion, what I have done is I have found balance of making sure I'm using the money I actually get, and how I'm using it compared to the resources that I'm gaining and the effort that I'm expounding. So these are the 5 books I recommend for you if you want to learn a little bit more about financial stuff. If you like this video, let me know, and if you plan on reading any of them, also let me know. And if you have questions, put them in the comments. I might be able to help you, or at least point you in the direction to somebody that's smarter than me. I'll see you guys later.